Okay, you ready for my Biopappy?
Yes.
Chief Biopappy signing off. I love it. So awesome.
You're listening to KEHR, 50,000 watts, broadcasting worldwide from sunny Southern California. ExtremeHealthRadio.com. This is Chief Biopappy signing off. Over and out.
Hi, this is Dr. Ed Group from Global Healing Center. I hope you tune in and listen to Justin and Kate's Extreme Health Radio. It will transform your life, and you will get all the best health information you need.
Wake up your immune system to attack harmful invaders that don't belong in your body. Visit CARNIVORA.com or call 1-866-VENUS-FLY today.
Increase brain health and improve focus, memory, clarity, and mood with BioAge Superfood. Get 10% off your order using coupon code JUSTIN at extremehealthradio.com/BioAge.
I don't know why I think I can drum.
Oh, look at that. You beat me to
I beat you to it. I saw your little mouth pursing open, and I beat you.
That's right. You did a little drum session over there.
I don't know why everyone thinks that they could be an air drummer when they've never even experienced drums. I've never played drums like once in my life, but I can get over here and act like I know how to drum.
You probably never even held drumsticks.
You know, I was going to say that was true, but I think I have.
Did you have?
Yeah. But definitely zero talent in that department. Unlike my brother, who's an amazing drummer.
Is he a good drummer?
He's a really good drummer.
Really?
Yeah, he was a boy drummer in an all-girl band for a year and a half or 2 years.
That's right.
And they traveled all over the world and did tours. And
So he got the beat in the family, huh?
Hey, I have beat too. I got the banjo beat.
You got the banjo, you got the country beat?
That is me. I should have been a Texan.
Texan. You're a Texan at heart.
At heart.
Like we call Texas Tana, Texas Kate.
Her new name is Tex. That's her new nickname.
Oh, is that what it is?
Just Tex.
Tex, okay.
Yeah, it's cute, right?
I like that.
I'm a little jealous. I'm having a little jealousy over that.
Jealousy over that? Well, I can deal with that.
Yes, well, thank you.
Minus the heat, though.
Oh, yeah, 95. Somebody said it's 95 degrees there yesterday.
Where, in Texas?
I think that was Tana from Texas, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Well, we're having a bit of a heat wave here, aren't we?
My goodness, my gracious.
This is the second major heat wave. This time of year is pretty crazy in terms of heat waves.
Not a big fan.
Yeah.
Like, fall just slowly started to show itself, and then it got stripped away from me, and I felt beat down by summer. I'm over it.
Yeah, you get really beat down. But sometimes I get beat down from summer because we get the June gloom. This was the first year we had a really good summer.
It was amazing, but I'm feeling like because it was so amazing, I'm ready for a change. It's been too long of a summer.
Too long of a summer?
I shouldn't be complaining, and I'm so grateful, but at times it's like I just want a little bit of a season change, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's one of the hardest things for me is to roll with the seasons and roll. Well, you saw. Well, we'll talk about this.
Okay, yes.
But you saw my ability to adapt to stress.
Yes, I did. We have a lot to talk about today.
That was you know, the stress of a new season for me is a little bit overwhelming. You know,
this actually explains a lot. We'll definitely have to tell people why this actually is okay. Because
I'm a guy that loves, like, maybe in a past life or maybe in some sort of, I don't know what, but I feel like I used to live in Hawaii or you know, I was a pro surfer in a past life or something. I don't know, because I could live all year long on the beach surfing all day long.
Yeah.
Just
you would never get bored.
No seasons.
Yeah, something's wrong with you.
Yes, I'm not. But then I think people like the new season, but then they get bored really quickly, don't they?
Yeah, that's kind of like, you know what? Yeah. I'm okay all the way from June. I love summer, love it. But by September, I start getting a little mad that it doesn't seem like it's becoming fall. Uh-huh. And then when fall finally hits a little, like November, I love it all the way through New Year's. Like, I love that time, and then I'm just bored. Then come February, I'm like, this is just annoying. Like, it should just be summer again.
As soon as the winter, as soon as Christmas and all the holidays end, so basically January 1st, mm-hmm. It's at that point, it's like it might as well just be summer.
It comes down to a screeching halt, huh?
Yeah, because there's no more vacations, there's no more holiday festivities. There's no more, fun, people off work and enjoying themselves. And, everyone's
everything's serious and back to school, back to life.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any vacations, at least here in the United States. Now, if we were in Australia, that would be a different story. Because they've got about a vacation for just about anything you can think of.
They have like 5 vacation days a month, don't they?
Yeah, they have Boxing Day after
Christmas.
After Christmas, and then it's incredible. Australians are just amazing. They get so much time off. It's just so awesome.
Boxing Day. I have a Canadian friend, and I remember asking, what the heck is Boxing Day? I always thought it was like some national sport day.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. But you knew what it was, didn't you?
Yeah, Boxing Day is like the day after Christmas.
Yes. And they give it to you to like box up and kind of relax and clean up the house and get rid of stuff and throw away stuff. That is the most ridiculous. You can put your boxes out on the sidewalk. That is ridiculous.
But that is awesome.
Why doesn't America have that?
Well,
I love it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's awesome.
It's ridiculously awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, Americans, we work way too hard, I have to say.
I know. We really do need a day to recover from Christmas.
I know,
it's true, though. I mean, Christmas is such a big build-up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's gone, and now it's back to real life. So
yeah, well, you have that week in between where New Year's and Christmas happens. That's always still, people are back to work, but people are still kind of out. Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah.
But we're trying to live in the moment and enjoy the day, and right now it is a heat wave on October 3rd, 2014.
You know what I always think about seasons? This is kind of a downer thought here.
Okay.
Usually we try to be non-downer.
Okay.
Try to be uplifting. But sometimes I think about when people pass away, I always think about the season when that happens. Because I always think like, oh man, like they passed away, or that person so-and-so passed away today, they're not going to see the fall season. You know what I mean?
I could see that. I think that sometimes too.
Yeah, they're not going to get to experience Christmas. I'm sure they were wanting to experience Christmas coming up, but
I hear you.
Able to do that.
I think about that too. It's just the reality. It's true, but it's kind of a downer. I agree. Yeah,
it was amazing. There was someone who I learned. I don't know who this person is, but this is what's so weird about Facebook and just social media. I posted something about this on Facebook actually this past week, and it was interesting. A lot of people are getting over Facebook, but I posed a question on Facebook. Is our culture and our society in desperate need, or it needs some form of social media now? Remember, I think you and I were talking about this off the air a while ago.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if it's like the Facebook has become like a social like a social norm, in the sense that like once TVs were invented, society never went back to not having TVs. And I think it's that way. If you remove Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, there was a million other ones. If you removed all those from our culture, like I don't think that could ever happen. Like if Facebook goes away, there has to be a new Facebook.
Of course.
There has to be.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's like when you have a car, you're never not going to have cars again. They're just going to get better and different and morph over time. But
and morph, because think about all the apps that are on people's phones. You can't not have Facebook, or you can't not have something that represents the idea of Facebook.
I just can't imagine what it's going to look like in 50 years from now, honestly.
Oh, man.
Like, what's that going to be? Because apps are out of control, phones are out of control, besides the fact that they're kind of ruining people's health in the long run.
Right.
Like, how much more can anyone take? I get a little overwhelmed by that and have to step back and kind of, sink into a book and plug for a while, because it's too much for me sometimes.
I know. Sometimes
I don't like that idea,
it's
to be
weird.
honest.
It's really weird. This is a feeling that I've gotten lately reading books that I've never had before.
What's that?
And that is somehow, maybe it's the relaxation that's going on with my eyes, or my lack of being sort of pinged on my nervous system. But when I sit to read a book, I just feel like the first couple, maybe 30 seconds I start reading a book, I just feel really calm and at peace. I feel like, oh, this is something I should be doing, or I feel really good doing this.
It's really natural, huh?
Yeah, and I think it's because you're not looking at a screen that's changing all the time. But anyway, I brought all this up because I learned of someone who I don't even know that passed away that had an aneurysm on the plane.
No.
Yeah, and she was a young girl. I mean, 35.
You knew her?
40. No, I didn't know her. And this was what was so weird, because we're talking about passing away. We're just dying and unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And this was a young person, 35, 40 years old who died on a plane
Just recently?
yesterday or the day before.
Oh my gosh.
And one of my friends on Facebook posted this message asking people to pray for her. But she ended up passing away from an aneurysm that she got, and she's like our age. It's pretty
wow.
crazy. What is an aneurysm? Is it like a blood clot? Is that what that, or what is?
Yeah, isn't it like a pooling of blood and then it bursts? And
Is that what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
There's aneurysms and then there's embolisms.
What is an aneurysm? An excessive localized enlargement of an artery caused by a weakening of the artery wall.
Yeah.
And an aneurysm is an abnormal widening or ballooning of a position of an artery due to the weakness in the wall of the blood vessel. Wow. Yeah, so I don't know if that's... But yeah, it's just crazy. So it was just weird. It reminded me of just that story. Like, I never would have known that had it not been for Facebook.
Right.
You know?
So I think it actually makes you aware of things that it's good to be aware of, and then aware of things that you shouldn't have on you because it's too much awareness of too much. You know, because I always think about this, like you just said, like sometimes it's good not to live like an ostrich with your head in the sand and not know what's going on, or
right.
I really appreciate some things that I see on Facebook about people like somebody passed away or somebody just had a baby or somebody got married, like that kind of stuff is cool. But yeah, then it has that whole other side of the coin where it wouldn't have ruined your day and you wouldn't have this like depression hanging over you if you hadn't have just heard that bad news because they weren't really in your inner circle. You would have found out if anyone was in your inner circle, but because they were just far enough removed, you're like, oh, bummer. Someone says, every day on Facebook, I see somebody's mom or dad came down with some horrible disease and or somebody died in a car accident. It's in your face, so it's like...
It's almost like reading the
It's like you're still getting the news, and the newspaper, and you're still getting it, but just in people so it affects you even more.
Yeah, it's not some random person.
It's not some random person way out there in the world, It like drives it all home. But I was having the thought about Facebook this week where I really believe... I don't know how to say this in the right way, but I think people would be better friends, myself included, if you weren't on Facebook. Because here's my reasoning. When you put something out there on Facebook, you think, okay, all my quote friends, like my 200, 400 people or whatever that I think I'm quote friends with, they're all going to see this thing and they're all going to feel connected to me and we're all just like keeping each other as friends, right? But you wouldn't pick up the phone and call 399 out of your 400 friends. Like, you wouldn't do that. So it's almost like you're being a fake friend. You're not really a true friend. A friend is somebody who makes a point to write a letter, call, get together. I won't ever get together with hardly any of my, quote, friends on Facebook.
Like, you just want to see what they're kind of doing.
So that's just weird.
It's weird, huh?
Yeah, that's not being a good friend. It's like you're actually not I know that it's just a loose term anyway, and they're just saying it's a contact you have on Facebook. That's all they are. Some people are your friends, but most are just contacts. But that's just a problem I thought about it like recently. I'm like, it makes you a slacker friend, and then you feel like those, that 1% of your friends that actually are your good friends, sometimes it keeps you from making more of an effort to do things with them in real life because you're thinking you're still connected by this string on Facebook, so they know what's going on. You don't really need to catch up. Like,
I know.
I think it makes people worse friends, including myself. But
so you think it does something to you? Do you think where you are sort of not acting in the way that you would if Facebook was not there? I mean, it kind of, because how does it make you a worse friend? I wonder.
Me personally?
Yeah.
I think I let friendships slide a little bit. I don't have to try as much like I used to. Like when you used to try to plan something to meet somebody at a coffee shop or a dinner. And not like I don't do that, but I don't do it as often because I'm thinking there's not as much to catch up on. You feel like you're putting your life a little bit more out there than everybody else's. So you're like, oh, I'm okay. I know what's going on with so-and-so. And
people know what's going on with you more.
But I've realized if you post something really like exciting or like life-changing, you get all these people like texting you privately like, hey, we need to get together. I saw your thing on Facebook. Like,
oh, really?
So when some life-changing thing happens, I think people really, want to be in on your life because they feel like that's just not enough on Facebook to just see this broad comment.
Right.
But no, I in general, for me, I feel like I'm a worse friend for Facebook, for being on Facebook.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things, isn't it, where you are on there. I mean, we haven't deleted our account, so you're on there, but it's also it's a strange thing because it's like it's a necessary evil, and you like it enough to not get rid of it.
Yeah,
You know?
and it's addictive. I mean, they're really good at like roping you in because you wanted to see. It's like watching a train wreck, kind of like you want to see everything, but you don't want to see it, and then you're on it, and all of a sudden, an hour later, you wasted all this time.
Yeah, I think what it's, there's not a whole lot of social, like digital social media. I mean, it's not really social in the sense that like you're actually socializing in a physical way with people on platforms like Facebook. And I like it. There's a lot of things I do like about it, though. I like how you can sort of get your news that way. You can sign up to certain news sources or alternative media websites, and you can kind of like and follow them. And
it's a cool time to be alive for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
sure.
It's cool, but I think it's also doing something subtle, on a subtle level to our friends. Like, do you think it's like the idea of someone, when you get into the age where people are starting to have the kids or grandkids even, like, should there be any filters with people? Because like, if you're posting on Facebook, if all your friends are posting on Facebook, and I imagine this happens on, to women more, where there's this kind of weird thing about having kids and... Oh,
it's such a competition.
Yeah, it is, right?
Totally.
And I don't understand.
And the way that people are making these giant announcements about it on Facebook, it's like they're getting... I mean, I have this client of mine, one of my, quote, friends. I'm not really tight with him or anything, but they found out that they're having twins. And I showed you the picture a couple months ago when they announced it. They had a movie theater knock down their letters and put up announcing twins coming to a theater to you, February, whatever.
Oh, wait, what? A movie theater?
Yeah, do you remember I showed you this picture? They're standing under a movie marquee, and they had the letters taken off and had a friend that owned the movie theater put it up, and they're standing under it, and this was their announcement to the world. And I'm like, at what length? This is your third and fourth kid. They already had 2 kids, so it wasn't like it was their first. And it's exciting. I'm not saying...
They've been trying for years to get pregnant. Yeah, they couldn't.
But it was like, hey, world, we're having twins. And it's on this giant movie billboard thing. And I'm like, oh, brother, like, that kind of stuff just really annoys me. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. It's annoying because I think about the friends I know that aren't married in their 30s and early 40s and would love to be. Would love to be having kids. And here you are, blessed enough to be having your 4th kid, and you're shoving it in people's face. I mean, I just feel like...
Your 4th kid.
That's really annoying.
Yeah, I know. Like, what are the... It's sort of like with the cell phone. Like, there's no rules. You don't learn how to use a cell phone like in driver's ed. You learn how to drive a car. People just get cell phones and bam, they start using them in the most annoying sort of ways, right? They will start talking in the library or start talking during the movie theater. In the same way with Facebook, is there a protocol? Like, it's a tough thing because like maybe there's ways to go about saying things that is a little more sensitive to other people, or maybe you could go through your friends list and not. I don't know if there's a way to not display stuff to certain people. But you could, maybe if there is, maybe you could put those people on a list or something and not have your update go to people who...
the blacklist.
Yeah, or something where you're a little more conscious of like, but then on the other, flip side, are people just too sensitive? Are people just too, should they just be able to get over that? And hey, this is someone's news, albeit a little bit obnoxious in the way.
I agree with that too. I'm torn. I just know what annoys me, but at the same time, I'm like, you can't. I found myself in my 15 years of doing hair at the salon censoring what was exciting in my life with my relationships. Like with you, when I met you and we were dating, it's like I felt bad telling people about it because they didn't have someone, or I had this friend that's been single and she's 10 years older than me and still single. And it's like when we got married, I didn't want to talk about it too much. It's like, but I missed out on sharing. Like, that's not a true friend either if you're just this surface friend who's afraid of hurting people because you're going through something really exciting in your life.
Right.
But I was just really, really cautious not to shove that stuff in people's faces because, I mean, what good is that going to do? It just makes people feel badly about themselves.
Yeah, I guess it's.
But to be true to your own happiness.
It comes down to awareness and tact, where you're aware of how you're coming across to people, even on Facebook when you're putting certain things out there. You're aware to not be obnoxious, and then it comes down to tact, where maybe you don't do things in such a overt way. Like we had someone on our Facebook. about, a while ago, and it was like she bought her husband for his birthday.
Oh, yeah.
A Lamborghini or something?
Yeah, a Maserati or a Lamborghini.
Maserati? And how much are those things? Like $100,000? Probably $200,000? And I don't know what, I mean, they must make so much money, but I just thought, that's not done in...
No.
That's not done in good taste.
It's not done in good taste.
Yeah. Any way you slice it, you could either say people are too thin-skinned, they should be able to deal with someone like that. Or, I mean, it's sort of like, I see these things like, it makes big news. Like, there's a story going around the other day with, what's his name? I'm so glad I can't remember his name right now because I don't like the guy. I shouldn't say that.
What does he do? Is he an actor?
No, he's a boxer. Floyd Mayweather. Have you heard about that guy?
Never heard of him.
Nice. Really? Oh, that's so cool.
Is that encouraging to you?
Yeah, it goes into this whole thing.
Okay.
So there's a story a couple weeks ago about Floyd Mayweather. He's like the world's best boxer or whatever.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, nice. So cool. And world's best boxer? Never heard of him.
God, creator of the universe? Never heard of him.
Don't know who you are.
That's what I feel like I should know this guy. Like.
Yeah, well, this is pretty awesome. So he's the world's best boxer. I think he makes like $20, $30, $40 million per fight. He'll box a few times a year. His net worth is like close to $1 billion or more. I mean, this guy... And so he posted a picture on his Instagram. And the reason why I know this is because... I subscribe to Bleacher Report, which is a sort of a sports website.
Okay.
And it made like front page headlines on Bleacher Report that he posted a picture on his Instagram of him laying in bed with just stacks of $100 bills.
Oh my goodness.
And it was just like, why?
We all know you have money.
Yeah, like, or he'll write like, he'll take a picture of his night out with friends at a restaurant and it'll be like, $30,000 tip, and he'll take a picture of the receipt and post, and it's just like,
wow.
Is that any different from our friend posting the Maserati?
I guess not.
But it was like, there's a story with that same guy the other day, and I don't know why I click over. I shouldn't click over actually because it gives them a page view and bolsters their stats and stuff. But there was a story where he was in a hair barber shop, right? Uh-huh. And he was sitting there and with his mock, or what do you call that?
A smock.
Smock on, and he was getting his work done. There was some girl in there that didn't know who he was.
Nice.
Which is just like you.
That would have been me. I'd have no idea.
He was arguing with her. And
about what?
He's like, you don't, what?
The fact that she didn't know who he was.
What? You don't know who I am? Are you serious?
No.
Come on, Google me. Come on, you don't know. I mean,
no.
People line up and wait for my autograph, and well, you don't know who I am. She's like, I don't know who you are. I don't know you from Adam. And talking with all this, and it's like, and it was just so cool. It was really cool, and I just thought like. Without social media, we wouldn't know who half some of these people are.
Wow, yeah, you're right.
And I don't know what it is, but it's something about our social environment today that's not really social, but it's like a digital social.
Yep.
It forces us to be in the loop with certain people. I guess you could unsubscribe from them. But I suspect social media and things like that are changing the way our biology and our brains work. I think.
Well, I think it's creating. I do too. I think it's creating new grooves. I mean, anything that becomes a pattern in your brain is actually changing. It's changing your chemistry on a physical level and creating grooves in your brain of a repetitive habit.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it just creates more monkey brain. If anything, you're dealing with so much information that you would have otherwise not had. But Tana's in the chat room, and I totally agree with her. I mean, the best part is, and I will always be thankful that these things have reconnected me with people that I always wanted to know what happened to them. And
completely, it's a love-hate relationship.
It's so love-hate, and part of me just thinks that's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
But you know what I am pissed about?
Uh-oh.
Facebook won't let me unfollow people.
Wait, what?
I've tried to unfollow people, and I don't see them for a couple weeks. And yesterday, I saw 4 people pop back up. Their posts are back through my news feed.
I'll show you how to do it.
I unfollowed them though. What is that about? It's not easy.
Yeah. You can also, I think there's some other things you could do too.
Okay. Because I had a big moment yesterday where I wanted to throw the computer out the window.
Yeah. The Facebook thing and the social media thing, I don't know. I wonder if there's been some studies done on that where it's actually changing. I believe it's changing how we interact with people. It's changing how we do business, changing how we buy things. It's changing how we interact with friends and old friends. But what I do like about it is that it's more malleable.
That's a great word.
Thank you. Than traditional media. So, back in 1985, you had 5 channels on your TV, and you had to watch whatever was on those 5 channels for the news. At least in this way, we can choose what we want to see, and we can interact with it based on what we like.
Our preferences.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the most we could do before the remote control was to get up off the couch and physically turn down the dial so that you didn't have to hear the commercial.
Right.
But now you can do a lot more. And so having the ability to sort of customize your news and how you want to interact in the world is really cool.
That is cool. No, I sound like I'm just down on all technology, but I mean, I have my moments and so do you, but...
You're a Luddite. You're a Luddite with a cell phone. There's no doubt about it.
My cell phone's actually, unfortunately, sitting in this room with us.
I know, right?
Yeah, waiting for your mother to call. I might have to step out in a few minutes to go run down the stairs and give her something, but...
Oh, okay. I just got a message from Tana. She says, y'all sound muffled again. Adjust the sound a little bit to the left.
Oh, no.
A little bit to the left.
A little bit to the left.
Okay, let me do this.
That's awesome. Testing, live show.
Okay, let's see if that helped at all. Testing 1, 2, 3. We're still coming in good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we got
Tana.
this the old cell phone in the office with it. We don't normally have that here, do we?
She said, there it is.
Is that good?
Yeah, apparently. That's awesome, Tana. Thanks. I love these live shows. Isn't it so interactive and fun?
Yeah, it's super fun.
I love it.
Yeah, so we had a pretty good week's worth of guests, didn't we?
We had a great week, didn't we? Did you have a favorite or anything that stuck out to you?
My favorite episode, so we had episode 324, 25, and 26. 324 was Elwin Robinson.
He was great.
325 was Rosemary Drysdale. No relation to Don Drysdale from the
I don't even know who that is.
Major League Baseball.
See, I don't know any sports figures. Okay, keep going.
And Matthew Stein on 326.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think? Who was your favorite?
I don't know if I actually had a favorite this week. I liked them all. I thought they were all very, very interesting. They're very, very different. Elwin was so cool. He was coming to us from Portugal.
Portugal, yeah.
But he was from England originally.
Scotland, I think, right?
No, he's British.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I found him fascinating. I feel like he was a wealth of knowledge and information. Kind of like a Susan Jones Smith, I felt like, where they have their hands in a lot of things and he knows a lot of information.
Right.
He's really pleasant to listen to. Yeah, I really enjoyed him. I was on his site after the show, messing around and watching some videos and stuff, and he's really talented.
With Elwin?
Yeah, he's great. I don't know, just like I want to be friends with him. I like him.
Yeah, he's
What'd
really
you take
cool.
away from that episode? Anything interesting?
I think the biggest thing for me was the whole component of breathing, because he went into all the important benefits of breathing and how breathing affects our physiology and our stress levels and how it increases oxygenation and circulation and just how important breathing is. And anything to bring more consciousness and more awareness to the present situation, I think is going to help everybody. And that's the idea of praying before you eat a meal. And all that it is to stop and give thanks, have some gratitude, and be really appreciative of what you're doing. And like David Wolf says most people are halfway through the bag of potato chips before they even know they're eating. And so that's the kind of the idea that all of us run around with, I think, in our life is we're doing things at such a subconscious level that we don't even know we're doing them. We're running patterns and scripts and stories from our childhood, and we're just running throughout the day completely unconscious. And taking a step back and breathing, I thought that was really cool that he talked about.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's so ingrained in us to be busy, from the moment that we're born till now. It's just go, hamster on the wheel.
Right.
That I feel like God just didn't make us and set us down without what we needed inside of us. And it comes back to breathing is so... It's vital. Like you can't live without it, but we don't treat it like that. Like we don't give it the credit it's due daily, and it keeps us not only living, but it's amazing that you have this free thing that you could really use as a tool to calm yourself the heck down, and also just connect, like you said, with your higher self, or into a higher state of consciousness. But we don't utilize it. It's just breathing. We all have it.
It's just breathing. It's so strange, isn't it? I mean, it's there for everybody. It doesn't cost a thing. You don't have to learn how to do it. You just have to.
I think you have to somewhat learn how to let yourself go into it, though. Like really, like mold yourself into, like, press against it. Because I remember when I had some anxiety, depression stuff when I was in 8th grade, and that was kind of the beginning of my anxiety bout I struggled with for years after. But I remember my parents took me to a counselor, and they try to, walk you through these breathing exercises and get you to, calm yourself down a bit and stuff like that. But it didn't do anything for me at the time, because I don't think I saw the value in it. And I'm an 8th grader going, how's this going to help me? Like, I need something to help me now, and breathing and counting to 10 backward and letting it's like, when you're that ramped up with anxiety, I have to say, like, unless you can get to that point through a lot of work of really realizing how your breath can heal you, it was just these words that meant nothing to me. But now I'm in a place in my life where breathing, it's just this amazing tool that I couldn't have seen then. I was just too young to understand. What
kind of things did you have to do? Just certain breathing techniques when you're a kid, when you're in 8th grade?
And they explain them to you, but I don't think I was at the right person, first of all, to be able to help me make a difference in my life with the stress level. Instead, they wanted to medicate me and stuff like that, which I don't even think helped. It made me feel sicker and weirder.
So they had you on something for a while?
Yeah, like anti-anxiety medications, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, they'd have these certain protocols that they'd say when you're starting to go down that road of anxiety, stop and, breathe in for 10, breathe out through your nose for, but when it's like you have to clear your mental space before you can even go into that space.
Yeah. It's like going into like just a completely messy, dirty house, just filled wall to wall with trash. And then you're trying to, to run from room to room or something.
I remember it was like, I'd try it and I would get out of that appointment and go, okay. And I'd start to go into a panic attack and I'd be like, okay, and you'd be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slowly, but you're counting. But at the same time, my monkey brain was like, oh my gosh, I just feel like I'm going to die. I'm going to feel like I'm going to die. I'm going to I'd be going through all the things that could go wrong. And I'd be thinking about all the things that were stressing me out. So it was like, I was counting and stressing at the same time. So I wasn't in that place of like just being able to focus on my breath. It's like I was able to trick my own mind out of relaxing. So it wasn't just useless to me at the time.
How long were you on the meds?
Probably a couple of years.
Isn't that crazy? So you went in, so this was started like in 8th grade?
8th grade, yeah. Beginning of 8th grade. Yeah, I was out of school for a long time.
With our society where we have to put our kids on medication at such a young age.
That was a bummer.
That's crazy.
That was a bummer too, because I had I was freaking out about my skin, being a girl and having teenage acne stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it never got too bad, but it was enough to where it bothered me and my mom. They didn't know any better. They took me to a dermatologist, and the dermatologist said, well, you need a low dose of antibiotics, and that's what the whole thing was a perfect storm. I was on those low dose antibiotics for probably a couple of years.
Oh, man.
And you wonder why I have gut problems.
Yeah,
but with that and the anxiety, I'm like, oh my goodness, like the anxiety medication.
My brother was on that for, I think it was called Accutane.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was on Accutane?
Yeah. That was one that had all the recall stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they had to test your liver, and that could be bad.
Yeah, because my brother had, how do you spell that? Accutane.
It'll probably come up.
Tane, side effects, yeah. So, drugwatch.com. Interesting. But yeah, he had like the sort of cystic type of pimples or zits and things, and so, he was on Accutane as a kid, and man, I tell you, that stuff is,
I'm surprised that my parents actually didn't I remember that was a possibility, but I was too scared even then. My fear actually kept me from doing it, I think.
Yeah.
And that was because the blood work, and I didn't like needles and the liver and all these things, So you were never on that? No.
They say here, nausea, vomiting, blurred vision, Crohn's disease, bone or muscle pain, persistent fever, chills, sore throat, yellowing of the skin, allergic reactions, vision trouble, hypertension. Incredible. Wow. They give this stuff to kids. Miscarriage, depression, liver damage. Good night. Yeah,
we're going to post something on the notes too that Tana posted in the chat room. This is a very interesting product. NewReality.com. Going on to it right now. It's a device that helps you breathe and kind of take you off the dreamland here in order to calm down and get your breathing. Wow. This is really cool. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah, NewReality.com.
Have you seen this before?
I have not seen it, no.
These devices allow you to fully experience all of our programs by using a combination of sound and specific patterns of light. With your program guide, you can experience transformational guided imagery so you may accomplish your desired outcome. The music, sound, and light technology of the TGI sessions guide you into a state of focused awareness, your ideal brainwave state for this creative visualization experience. In this relaxed state, your mind is able to visualize an outcome, and you achieve the change you desire.
Look at that.
The small size and portability of these devices allows you to take programs with you wherever you go. Use the programs in your own home or on a business trip to Beijing. There's no software to install and no messing with CDs or tapes. They're easy to use. They're compact and portable, easily to slip into a purse, pocket, or briefcase.
That's really cool. It comes with a pair of sunglasses and guided imagery. How do you do that with these things?
I would love to know.
There are some cool things. Looks like a little iPod with some sunglasses. But
well, this is cool. I'm going to have to look into this. Thanks, Tana.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, there's some really great options out there for skin, too. There is the book that we mentioned. We might want to write this down. Called Heal Your Face.
Oh, yeah.
So it's extremehealthradio.com/ I think wrinkles.
Okay.
And then there is this really great website that you might want to look into called The Love Vitamin.
The Love Vitamin.
Yeah, The Love Vitamin.
Oh, I remember her.
And she's a girl that she redesigned her site. It looks really great. But yeah, really cool stuff out there in today's world, I have to say. Yeah, so no, Elwyn Robinson was awesome. I really liked him. He was great. Yeah, really, really cool. And who else do we have on that? Rosemary Drysdale, Parasites.
Parasites and how we might symbiotically, or not even symbiotically live, but how they might actually help us in some ways, right?
I know, right?
Yeah. The name of her book was hilarious. Why am I blanking on it? Do you remember? It's like a parasite in my bed or something.
Oh, the hidden story of the world's most unwanted guest or something like that.
I like Parasite in My Bed better. Yeah, she was interesting, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was great.
I like getting the other side of the story from other people's opinions.
Yeah.
It makes me somewhat more confused, but at the same time, I think what's good for me about it is that I just don't freak out as much as I used to about things. Like, you're always going to find somebody who
thinks the opposite.
Yeah, thinks it's the end of the world, and somebody who thinks it actually could benefit you. So I'm not saying I'm sure about what I think about this parasite thing in general, but all I know is that I'm checking in with my body and seeing how I feel. And if I think something is, because my parasitic condition, I believe, did need to be killed off a bit. It was an amoebic infection.
Yeah, you could have had too many of them.
Yeah, so it's case to case, moment to moment.
Yeah, I think that it's really important for all of us to listen to people and to listen to things and to take in information that's sometimes maybe the opposite of what you're saying or what you believe. Because a lot of people, they'll write into us and they'll say, hey, I thought you guys ate more of a paleo diet. How come you had this raw food guy on? Or, I thought you guys were really into raw food. Paleo is really, people send us articles about how paleo causes cancer or something like that, and so it's this complete, and they're wondering why we have a paleo author on or something like that. And I think it's this idea that people have where they think they want to pin you into certain, whatever it is that they feel comfortable with. So if it's a raw food person, they want to pin you as a raw food guy. If they're a paleo, they want to pin you as that. And I think it's really I think what happens is that people don't want to have conflicting opinions on a show like ours because they want to, they have their notion of what they think is true. And then they want to believe that no matter what the evidence says.
Right. They want to slap a label on themselves and then just delve into it and make sure that label is wrapped around them.
Exactly.
It's easier.
It's easier. And then, that way they can just believe it. And then if they do that, it takes the fear away, because I think what people like is people love to be led. They like leaders, and they like someone to rally the troops and to tell them what a certain thing is, or how we should be eating, or this is the ultimate truth for getting rid of diabetes or something. And when in truth, there's lots of different protocols, and there's lots of different causes for disease, and lots of different ways to overcome disease. And so it forces you, if you're interested in our show, it forces you to become your own guru. And that's the whole point. You know?
Wasn't that like on the Stuart Wilde book that you love about not buying into another guru, like basically like be your own?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it forces you to say, hey, here's a guy. Like last week we had Mark Sisson on the show and Gabriel Cousins. You couldn't be more different. Right? One's paleo and one's raw vegan.
Yep. Low
sugar raw vegan. And so I don't know, it just makes you think like, okay, well, I got to listen. I got to come up with my own opinion. I like some of what this guy was saying, some of what this guy was saying. And I think that helps everybody. It helps people form their own opinions, be strong within themselves, and start to take power in that, and start to stand behind their own convictions.
About everything in their life.
About everything, yeah. And so, you could say, hey, I like a little bit of this guy, I like his principle on this, and I like a little bit of this guy. And I stand in principle with this other person, but what they're saying doesn't seem to work for me right now. And so maybe I'll try that in 6 months from now when my gut's healed. And so formulating, it's like becoming your own doctor, like Lissa Rankin says, right?
Yourself. Yeah, Lissa Rankin.
She comes up with your own prescription or whatever?
She is amazing. If you guys haven't read her book, Mind Over Medicine, oh my goodness.
Good, huh?
It's changed. It's been one of the most influential books I think I've ever read. It's everything I kind of knew, but she puts it in such a... I have to say, at times, it gets a little too medical-minded for me. It gets a little too researchy. But that was the whole point. Researchy epi. Hey, now. You always make fun of me. Throwy epi, remember that?
Throwy epi.
One time you said, how you doing? I said, I feel like I got a little throwy epi.
Throwy epi.
You never let me live that one down, did you? No, but that's the whole point of her book, is to bring scientific proof that you can heal yourself. And she did an excellent job of digging in the trenches and finding out those studies that had been done, and all the double-blind studies, all the stuff. It's like she's like one big fat research paper, but then she has such a way of interweaving her own personal journey to health, and a lot of stories of people that she had seen heal, because she was a former OBGYN and had major burnout and all this stuff. But anyway, Mind Over Medicine is amazing, and at the end of the book, she has this whole section about basically writing your own prescription to heal. And I took 2 hours, went to the day spa one day, into their quiet room with this book and my journal, and I did just that. It was one thing to read the book, but another to actually follow the protocol and make my own prescription. And I did it, and it's so funny, some of the things that I knew that I needed to heal in ways that I wouldn't have thought if I hadn't taken the time to go through the book. And that's the thing about writing your own prescription with your health, is everyone's is going to be so different. And
yeah,
I'll tell you some of mine.
I think there's... Well, do you want to take a little break?
I do, yeah. I'll grab my book, because I thought it was interesting what came to my brain. And when I thought when I asked myself, what do I need in order to heal myself, I couldn't believe some of the weird stuff that popped up.
Yeah, there's something about, I don't know, I think when you come up with your own prescription, we should talk about that, because that's really, really,
it's
really
very powerful. It's kind of like how when you were mentioning writing your own manifesto or your own creed.
Right.
Yeah, let's talk about that when we get back.
Yeah, I think that is really, really powerful.
I'm going to go grab my book and grab a date.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Look at you.
I'll be back.
All right, we'll be right back right after this break.
Real people, real stories.
And he discovered Carnivora, was so thrilled with the product that he shared it with his family and his friends and his patients. My dad was a family physician. He was a medical doctor.
Almost all the symptoms were either diminished or gone. Amazing product, amazing results.
And found Carnivora. Something really wonderful was happening. I had to show my family. I mean, I've never seen anything like this.
It's like an amazing thing, having such a profound change in how I feel, and knowing that it was the Carnivora that did it.
Hello, folks. Richard Ostro, owner for Carnivora Research International here. Wake up your immune system and that of your loved ones to protect yourselves against harmful invaders. used successfully by President Reagan in 1985 when he had it sent to the White House. Visit carnivora.com or call 1-866-VENUS-FLY. That's CARNIVORA.com or dial 1-866-VENUS-FLY and start protecting yourself today.
So recently we had a really, really great doctor and author on our show, Dr. Doris Rapp, and she was on episode number 56. And she talked about these really great Austin air purifiers and the necessity of having clean air in your house. And she was talking about how inside of our houses, the air is very, very toxic, and it's more toxic than even outside. And the reason is because there's chemicals that are off-gassing from our paints that are in our house, our chemicals, and our carpets, and the dust and the pollen and the mold and everything else that's inside the air of our house. And we don't get good ventilation. And so having some of these air purifiers are really, really critical. And I spoke with her at length off the air about why she likes these Austin air purifiers and why she promotes them. And it turns out that not only do they get rid of the pollens and the allergens and the dust and the particles and everything that's floating around in your air like most purifiers do, which is great, but they also get rid of, I think, 3,000 different chemicals that are inside. They're just floating around your house. And you know, these things end up in our lungs and in our bloodstream and all of that kind of stuff. And Doris Rapp has been researching this kind of information for many, many years. I think she's in her 80s now, so she really has a handle on which products are good and which products are not so good. And she recommends the Austin Air. And after talking with her, doing a ton of research on my own, and speaking with a company and looking into it from a lot of different angles, we agree with her. So if you're interested in a good quality air purifier, check it out. You can learn more at extremehealthradio.com/Austin, and you'll be redirected to a website that will sell these things. And they're really, really great machines, and I highly recommend them. If you have a baby, you want to have these things in their room or in the room where you sleep, or you can take them out and put them in your family room. So if you want to listen to that episode, extremehealthradio.com/56 to learn what she says about them, feel free, but we highly recommend them. So it's extremehealthradio.com/Austin, or you could check out our store and learn more about it on there as well. So thanks for listening, and let's get back to the show.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
Okay, I'm a little distracted here talking to Tana about this private messaging about this. What's the product called again?
I have it up right here.
Sounds really cool.
New Reality.
NR. Yeah, I want to learn more about this thing, and if it's good and we like it, and we test
TGI Pro.
TGI Pro, and eventually maybe sell it on our website if we enjoy our time with it, which it looks like we will. It looks really awesome.
I don't know how we wouldn't. We love stuff like this.
I know, this is really cool.
Awesome, Tana.
Yeah, this kind of ties into our experience this past week with the float session, or the float therapy. So we'll talk about that in a second, but I want to get into your prescription that you wrote for yourself.
Yeah, you want to hear this?
Yeah.
I won't read it all because I have pages and pages and pages, but...
So what's the idea that she talks about?
So in the book, which I highly recommend to people, she has at the very end, after she talks about how we can heal ourselves, the proof that we can heal ourselves, all this stuff, she recommends that you should write yourself, because no one knows yourself more than you do. And if you can get quiet enough with yourself to listen to what you really need, that if you came up with a prescription to heal yourself and go that route rather than relying on anyone else to tell you how to heal, that is the objective.
Okay.
So I read her whole book. Thought I just need to take some time, and I broke it down. I didn't do it exactly like her worksheet, but I broke it down into what I need for major healing for mind, body, and spirit.
Okay, so she tells you to break it down.
Well, I did it my own. Like I kind of broke it. She definitely tells you to break it down, but I broke it down into bigger sections because I didn't have it took me a long time. But so yeah, just an idea for my healing prescription for the mind. I put gratitude walks on that, because when you and I leave that front door, we tend to go down negative town. So if we can
right?
If we can go down gratitude town and really, I don't know, just
stay in a state of constant gratitude.
That's a great way to say it.
Yeah.
That's part of healing for me. A daily meditation, which, speaking of this meditation stuff, guided or in stillness. I still need my nightly biomat meditations, and just my piecing out on that thing just is super healing to me. My beach morning walks, daily affirmation, education through reading books about letting go, financial freedom, self-healing, and empowerment. I put to attend online and in-person seminars and retreats, because I don't do that enough to get filled back up. Stop believing lies right as they surface.
Really?
Yeah.
Believing lies, you mean that you think about, or people tell you?
Probably both.
I guess both, right?
Both,
I mean, it's like, it doesn't matter where the lie comes from, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put to find my true north. Don't become easily influenced by others like I've always been. I've always been tossed very, to and fro by other people's opinions and the way that they live life. I think that's the way everyone should, and I get sucked into that. I put to subscribe to youthful magazines only and ditch the fashion and home magazines, as they create a desire for things that don't fulfill me.
Isn't that interesting that you would have written that? You know subconsciously deep down that stuff's not good for you.
I feel like I'm so addicted to magazines, and I love them, and I had been buying them up for so many years, and yet I always feel like the minute I bring them into the house, I look and I want, and it creates a desire to buy something in a lifestyle that I don't have or I think I should have, and it makes me feel inadequate and depressed. And so I've ditched those in the last year, and the magazines I pretty much do look at these days are all like health and spiritual stuff. And let me tell you, it's like big difference.
There was that quote from Thich Nhat Hanh, or I think it was Thich Nhat Hanh, that said, all unhappiness comes as a result of desire.
I remember you said that, and it totally was what stuck with me.
Yeah.
Hold on, I have to check something.
Yeah, desire is such a powerful force. Desire, as the Bible would say, covetousness or whatever, wanting things you don't have. These are all, I mean, I'm going back and forth with Tana about this meditation thing, but it's, I want that thing, but I mean, these are all, it's like the products in our store, I mean, they're all great, but man, we can't focus on what we don't have. That's the hardest thing, or the most challenging thing, I should say.
It is challenging.
Yeah, desire. That's a big one.
Yeah, because if you wiped out all desire, it's true, your life would be completely different.
You would just look at what you have and what is in front of you, and you would say, okay, this is what's in front of me, and I'm happy with what's in front of me. Instead of saying, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. We run commercials, but I want everyone to know that they don't need any of the things that we talk about on our show to be healthy. You don't need anything.
You need to breathe.
Yeah.
And look, that's free.
That's free. So what are some other things?
I'll go through real quickly. For my body, I mean, I have a ton of things, so I just read a few highlights. But for my body, carry a lighter purse.
Really?
Ease up my shoulder tension. I carry around a bag that's bigger than Texas with Mary Poppins stuff thrown in there, and it has been my arch nemesis, I think, for 15, 20 years. I've been carrying this heavy, heavy bag, and it literally is weighing me down. You know what you should do is go out and buy a small purse, and it would force you to... I've done that too, and I've weaseled my way out of it and tricked myself into a big bag again. But you know what? I could help you with that, because, I didn't even know that you did that. So this time around... I thought you were going to help me by offering to carry my purse. Well, that's kind. Thank you. Man, that's not Put really that on my prescription. Make Justin carry my purse. Not really a man thing. Check this out. Ditch uncomfortable shoes. Wear only and invest in comfortable shoes and or orthotics, because my feet, all these years of standing on my feet, wearing crap ass shoes, right, wearing flat rainbow sandals, thongs, have not supported my feet, and I'm having major issues with my right foot. Wow. Yeah. Doesn't agree with my feet, my body. Your body. Isn't it funny when you get creative and you get silent and you write down a list like this, how stuff comes to you, and it's like... I never would have thought in my prescription would be to ditch my heavy bag and invest in flat shoes. So you couldn't even go to a naturopathic doctor and get a list this good. No, he wouldn't. I'm not kidding. I love my naturopath. Dr. Kelly is amazing, but I can't imagine ever having a conversation where he's like, what kind of shoes do you wear? Yeah, right. What kind of purse do you carry? What do you think about during the day? I mean, they're really great at helping you figure out how to navigate what's going on with your cells and your blood and this and that, and they're amazing, but they're not going to ask those nitty-gritty things that only you would know. This stuff is not helping me live life easier. I'm literally burdened by the stuff I'm carrying around through life on my back. I mean, we talk about like being a junior higher. You have those heavy books in a backpack. You learn at a very young age to be overwhelmed and burdened by life.
Isn't that amazing?
And you carry it like a turtle, wearing the shell of a backpack all around for the next how many years of your life. And it's almost like it becomes a security thing and you don't know how to live free. And that's where I think I got sucked into having to have stuff to feel confident going into this scary little classroom full of other people where I didn't feel like I had my little world. So your world's like your turtle shell. Like you have to
in your backpack.
Pack it all with you and take stuff with you just in case you need something.
And it's a false sense of security too.
It is a false sense of security.
You know?
Okay, and this is totally girly, but I do, and I'm requiring myself to get a once-a-month massage, a float tank. I'm going to do the float tank as much as I possibly can. Invest in better organic makeup, because I haven't been wearing makeup at all lately because I'm scared of breathing in some of those powders.
Oh, right.
Even though it's bare minerals or whatever, I've been reading there's so much crap in that stuff, and it's really bad for your lungs. I'm going to get a Sonic Care face brush, where you can buff out your skin and take better care of your skin to really slough away the dead stuff. I'm going to be more consistent in skin brushing. I put continued sauna and rebounders daily. I really have to commit to more daily doing the Qigong. I don't want to miss it.
Qigong's so awesome.
I love it. Yoga and paddleboarding.
I'll put a note of that.
Daily green juices. 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night. You know what I put? To get regular haircuts.
Oh, really?
Because I get my hair cut twice a year, and I freaking work in a salon one day a week. And it's like the cobbler shoes never have, the cobbler's kids never have shoes.
Exactly.
That makes me mad. Like, I don't even take care of myself like I take care of other people.
Right.
And I put to get some green house cleaners 4 times a year for deep cleaning in our apartment.
That's great.
Because I don't want to have to do it.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then to round it out, I'm just reading some of them. I have... that's my body, my body. Oh, and I put my work and my life purpose. I put quit salon, period.
Nice.
Because I know I need to do that.
For your work.
Continue to develop products for Extreme Health Radio. Commit to daily article writing for Extreme Health Radio. Because I have been really slacking on that. Overcome blocks to diving 100% into my life of purpose, of being an encourager and motivator to myself and others, and be filled up by my work instead of being drained by my old work at the salon. Those are just some key points, but it's like I know I need all those things in order to truly heal.
So when did you write those?
Probably about 3 weeks ago.
But what did you sit down and or did you carve out time in the night to do that? Or
no, I was at the day spa for a couple hours. I went into the quiet room and I got quiet and I listened, and it was really cool.
Isn't it weird how deep down we know? You know how people will say, "Doctor, how did I get this cancer?"
Yeah, right.
How did this happen? Deep down we know, don't we?
I think we do.
Yeah,
I think we do. It's getting silent enough to
block out everything else and to really get into that knowing.
Yeah.
We really do know these things.
I mean, I'm writing sentences at the end of writing that prescription. It's like I would never sit here and write a sentence like this. Work through finding my authentic voice and don't apologize for it. Like, where did that come from?
Right.
Letting go of being judged both personally by players in my life or by the public. It's like I don't ever have time to sit there. Like when I'm driving around, I'm not thinking about these things and have these sentences kind of jump out at me,
Yeah. What is that last one?
Letting go of being judged both personally by players in my life or by the public.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Right?
Letting go of being judged.
Check this one out. In relationships, stop trying to save everyone in my life. Support or observe them, but don't bend over backwards and give until I'm dry and have no more to give.
Have you thought about putting this together in a blog post?
I might.
And writing an article about that? Say that last one again. That was really good.
Stop trying to save everyone in my life. Support or observe them from a distance, but don't bend over backward or give until I'm dry and can't give anymore.
Wow. But
that's the kind of stuff I'm like, man, I have tried to save everyone. I've tried to save everyone my whole life. I'm a saver.
Yeah.
I do things that put me out financially. They put me out physically. They put me out emotionally. And it's just like, to heal, I can't keep doing that. Like,
you can't do that, no.
I've set a lot of boundaries in the last year, and I'm getting there. But, man, I encourage everyone to get Mind Over Medicine. Best book by Alyssa Rankin. I will put a link to her, but it will change your life if you let it.
Yeah, if you let that. That's really interesting.
So we went inward this week, didn't we?
We went very deep into the inner spaces of our psyche, didn't we?
And yes. How did yours go?
Mine was incredible.
We're talking about flotation.
Yeah, for those that don't know or have never heard about float tanking, people ask me, what is it? I don't understand it. Why would I want to go do that? So float tank is essentially, it was developed by a guy named John Lilly in the 70s, and it's come through a huge progression since that time. But essentially what it is you lay in a room, in a tub, a tank of water that's about 12 inches high, filled with water, just up to your ankle, a little higher than your ankle, only 12 inches, filled with 800 pounds of magnesium salt. So it's about
That's a lot.
About 10 times more buoyant than the Dead Sea. And so that has a couple
10 times more?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Dang.
You can't, it's like there's no way you can't not float in this. And what they do, essentially the idea of the float tank is to remove all 5 senses of humans.
Right.
And there's not an environment on Earth that you can do that. Think about it. You go to bed, you can still smell stuff, you can still hear stuff. Maybe you can't see anything, but
most people can. You don't live in a cave.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea is to remove all 5. If I were to put you in space, you would still feel the spacesuit. You'd still be able to see planet Earth.
Right.
There's no environment anywhere in the galaxy that you can create a situation like this. And it's the most unique environment. It's almost akin to being back in the womb.
I felt like that when I was in this time.
Floating in amniotic fluid, so it's completely pitch black. You can't smell anything. You can't taste anything. You can't see anything. And you can't feel anything.
That sounds like a lot of people's worst nightmare.
Right? I know.
Right.
Right? Which is part of the appeal of something like this, because what it makes you do is it makes you deal with yourself.
It really makes you deal with yourself.
And
if you let it.
If you let it. And why are people so addicted to their cell phones and to their computers and technology?
Because they don't have to deal?
They don't have to deal with themselves.
Right.
And so this is like it's like going to a therapist on steroids, or it's like going to the most intense meditation practice you could ever do on steroids. Because no matter what kind of meditation you do, you're feeling your legs start to numb. You're feeling your butt sitting on the ground. And every sense that comes into your being, your brain has to deal with that.
Yeah.
It has to process that.
Right.
And your brain has to think about, okay, how do I make my legs tingle less because they're falling asleep? Okay,
Right.
I got to move. And everything that comes in, whether you're thinking about it or not, your brain has to deal with that stuff. And whenever your brain has to deal with something like that, it can't heal. It can't properly heal itself. And so, or it can't.
Well, it can't focus on what it's supposed to be focused on. It has to, I don't know, like it has to recalibrate to deal with something.
Yeah.
It's like you're in constant state of, I don't know, having to fix or solve something.
Exactly.
You can't just be.
Yeah, and so so your brain is constantly stimulated no matter what you do, unless you remove it from all 5 senses. And this is the only environment on Earth, from what I can gather, that the water, you can't feel the water because it's heated up to exactly your body temperature. You can't feel the air because it's exactly your body temperature.
That's the weirdest experience.
It's completely pitch black. You go into what looks like a meat locker.
Uh-huh.
Right?
That's the freakiest part of all, I think, is when the first time I got in that thing, I used to work at a bagel store when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And we had this giant walk-in freezer. That thing scares the heck out of you. They used to ask you to go grab, frozen cranberries out of there.
Yeah.
And you'd go in there and you're like, crap, am I going to get locked in this thing, And it just, I remember going into that float tank thinking, this looks just like the handle. Looks just like I'm walking into here. And
yeah, right?
But knowing there's no lock on the inside definitely or the outside makes you feel better. But
yeah, there's no lock on the outside. And the only person who has access to the actual door of the float tank, the isolation chamber, is you.
Right.
And so it itself is in an enclosed area, so there's nothing that could ever happen.
I think for me, the things that made me feel better about it is knowing that you're locked in, so you can't be locked into the actual chamber, and you can't drown.
Yeah.
Because I always thought, what if you fall so asleep, so relaxed, you're going to turn over like you would in bed and then go face down? But there's no way the water will even let you. I mean,
yeah, you wouldn't even be able to do it.
No.
Yeah, it's one of the most incredible environments.
It's a pretty big trip, isn't it?
Yeah, because I've been in pitch black before, but to be silent and to be pitch black it's really, if I had any sort of disease process going on, I'd go in there every single day. Because I think magical healing happens in that thing. It's incredible. It took me, like I said, a while to get into this session that we did. It took me a while to get, comfortable, and it took me, 15 minutes before I kind of like completely let go. And I didn't even completely let go. I'm still getting better at it, but I was in there for an hour, and right at the hour point, I was just starting to get to the point where I could let go all the way.
I'm feeling like I'm ready for a 2 hour. I think that's going to be where I start to really make some major progress.
But people are afraid of themselves. What is that quote? Mankind's biggest, the greatest challenge to mankind is the inability for man to sit in a dark room alone by himself, or something. It was someone like Plato, or it was someone. It was basically saying that the biggest problem that faces humanity is man's inability to sit in a dark room for 24 hours by himself, kind of thing.
Oh, well, some people, people would go crazy.
Oh yeah,
some sort of torture,
Yeah, but that's because people can't deal with their own stuff by themselves.
I love floating. I love it.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Do we have to take a break?
Well, we can take a break.
Because
sure.
if we can right now, I have to run outside and grab something from your mom.
Oh, okay.
And then we could talk about our experiences, because I had some really cool happen.
Yes.
Does that work?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, we're going to be right back. This is episode 327 of Extreme Health Radio. We appreciate all you guys so much, and we will be right back right after this break. If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, and even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com. And now just take one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed of 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain helps with focus, memory, clarity, and mood. And if you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has 0 toxicity, is safe for you and your family, and it helps protect against radiation exposure. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at extremhealthradio.com/bioage or call 877-288-9116. Get 10% off your order using coupon code JUSTIN at extremhealthradio.com/bioage. BioAge, the age of advanced organics. So I think moving into the year 2013 and beyond, we're going to have to get really creative and develop a strategy of how to get healthy and the ways to get medicines into our body that are unique and specialized. And I first heard of nebulizing from David Wolfe. If you want to listen to his episode, it's episode number 35. But he talks about nebulizing different medicines. And what that means is turning liquids into a smoke, basically, that you can breathe in. And the pharmaceutical and drug industries use these things for patients to take pharmaceutical drugs and nebulize them so patients can breathe them into their lungs. But we're very proud to be offering what I think is the best nebulizer on the market. It's called the Omron Personal Nebulizer, and you can check it out at extremhealthradio.com/Omron. That's OMRON, and that will redirect you to a page where you can buy that. And it's really great because you can put in natural substances like colloidal silver or MMS developed by Jim Humble, and things that will kill on contact viruses and things that are taking place in your lungs. And it's a good way to get these medicines into your body. And I think that as we move forward, people are going to be sicker and sicker. And if you have a cold or any kind of throat issue, if I ever had cancer, I'd probably use a nebulizer. And the Omron is really great because you can travel with it. It's really portable, and it runs on batteries, and it's really the best nebulizer on the planet. So if you're interested in this kind of thing and want to use these types of things, I think it's really critical if you're traveling a lot or if you have family, you want to just have this on hand, almost like in your medicine chest, so that if you ever need it, you can nebulize these colloidal silvers and MMS and other substances to breathe directly into your lungs to kill these pathogens and viruses and all these things that are living inside your lungs and your bloodstream and stuff. So it's very, very interesting. So these Omron portable nebulizers are a great way to do that. So you can check it out, extremehealthradio.com/Omron, OMRON, or you can visit our store and learn more about it in there. So thanks for listening, and let's get back to the show.
All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
Well, I just absolutely love talking about floating. The floating, to me, I think is, I think it's going to become a more critical component and piece to healing that I don't know if it'll ever become mainstream. I hope it does, but it's incredible. We go to a guy, Newport Float Therapy, if you guys are interested in checking out. If you're in the Southern California area, we highly recommend Ron Becker. You can listen to his show that we did with him, episode 301. But I want to let you guys know, too, if you would like to sign up to our newsletter list, that would probably be the best way to stay in contact with everything we have going on. We give away an awesome ebook called Lessons from the Miracle Doctors, and that sells for $20 on Amazon, and we'll send it to you for free if you sign up. And then every Sunday, you get a little recap update of our previous week's shows, so you can always stay up to date with everything we have going on with our shows and our schedule. Next week, actually, we have next week off. Next week we have Bill. Actually, next week we have off, but the week after that, on the 13th, we have Bill Henderson, and he's going to be talking about natural cancer treatments and natural cancer cures. And then we have Bill Henke. We're going to be talking about pranic healing on the 15th, and you're going to get to meet our dentist, our biological dentist, the best guy in the world, Dr. Stuart Nunley, on the 16th. And so you can keep up to date with everything that we have going by going to our website and signing up to our newsletter list. And I wanted to let you guys know, too, that we have a really cool thing going on. It starts in, let's see, when does it start? I think it starts October 11th, and actually, in a week from now. But it's called the Truth About Cancer Summit, and it's put on by a guy, a former guest of ours, who's been on, I think, 2 or 3 times on our show, and his name is Ty Bollinger. Truth About Cancer. Let me just type this into our chat room here. And Ty Bollinger is a really interesting guy. He's been on our show. He was our very first guest, actually, episode number 1. And I'm putting a link in the chat room here for people. I would highly recommend going to that site, extremehealthradio.com/truth about cancer, all one word. And you can watch the trailer there and sign up and register. You're going to get access to an 11-part documentary. They call it like a mini-series. And so what he's done is he's traveled around the country and created these video interviews with all of the natural doctors, the natural authors and scientists and doctors and researchers and as well as people who've overcome cancer naturally themselves. And he's put together this awesome summit that's completely free. You just have to sign up and register for it, and you get access to it, and you can watch it, the video interviews, every single night for, I think, 11 days or 7 days or something like that. But for those who don't know, my mom was diagnosed with cancer in 1995, and that's how I got into natural healing, is I saw her go through the cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I think she had like a 10% chance of survival of making it through that. And it was just, man, it was horrific to watch what happened to my mom. But I'm thankful that she's still alive and she made it through that. She had a bone marrow transplant, and I was the only match for her bone marrow. And so I'd go up to the City of Hope and spend hours and hours donating platelets to her, and she had a complete bone marrow transplant, chemotherapy, radiation, and all of that, and she made it through. But when I watched her go through that, I thought to myself, man, there has to be a better way. I was only young at the time. It was 1995. I was 21 years old or something. And so I thought, man, there has to be a better way of going through that. And so that was the beginning of my journey to learning about natural health. And when I learned later on about natural healing and natural health, that you could actually reverse cancer and heal from it naturally without that stuff, I thought, this is incredible. Like, how come more people don't know about this? And then you quickly learn how political the whole industry is. And so I highly recommend going to extremehealthradio.com/truthaboutcancer, signing up and watching the whole documentary that's going on. I think it's incredible. I think it's absolutely incredible what Ty's doing. And information is getting out today. Information is getting out in a more powerful way through social media, like we were talking about earlier. People are able to spread information. And I think that through that, that's one of the awesome things about social media is there's no excuse anymore, but then people are learning so much. And I think people's ability to understand and learn new concepts and ideas through social media, I think it's really powerful. We
live in a really, really amazing time for that. You held down the fort.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm back.
Yeah. So I would highly recommend going to extremehealthradio.com/truthaboutcancer if you guys want to check that out. And so back to the float tanks. We were talking about that before you had to step out there.
Yeah.
Did you have a pretty awesome experience in the float tank?
I did. I loved the first session I had, but this session was even better because I felt like I was able to. It took me a little bit longer to relax, but I felt like I could fully get into that this time. But it was the weirdest thing. About halfway, maybe during it, I had this weirdo vision thing happen where I felt like I heard this sentence that popped into my head, and it said, be ready to journey to the center of the Sacred Heart, which was so strange.
Really?
And I was like, journey to the center of the Sacred Heart. And then before you knew it, I was seeing this I had my eyes closed. It was all closed. It wasn't like I was looking in the dark, but it was like this white staircase from the side version.
Was this after you had that thought?
I had that. I heard this sentence, and then I had this thought where I saw this vision. It was like a daydream kind of, but I saw this staircase, and so I was kind of envisioning myself like I was having a visualization process, So I walked over to it and I walked up it, and it's like I saw my feet wearing these shoes walking up these stairs, and I came to the top of the staircase, and there's this door, and it had a giant one of those sacred looking hearts with a sword through it painted onto the door, and then a big door handle with an oversized keyhole. And I was like, well, that makes sense. Journey to the center of the Sacred Heart. Well, maybe that's what this is all about. I need to go through this door. And so I was looking on this giant key ring, and I put one of the keys in, and I unlocked the door, and then I turned the knob and it wouldn't go. And so then I for some reason it hit me that I was supposed to pull the sword out of the center of that Sacred Heart. And I pulled the sword out, and then immediately it opened. And so I opened the door and walked through. And when I opened the door, it was just this golden flood of sunlight, just pure gold light you hear people talk about, just coming in at me. And it was blinding. And so I was like, I got to go through this though. So I stepped over one foot and then the other. And as I stepped in, I looked down at my feet, and I was on grass. And my feet were bare. It was like I'd returned to myself, returned to the earth, returned to a lot of things. And I thought this was so beautiful. It's just this field, and it was quiet, and there was oak trees, and it was just amazing. It reminded me of that scene that I saw that Louise Hay put out that movie. Do you remember the name of her movie?
You Can Heal Your Life?
Where a girl walks through a door. Maybe it was, yeah.
Maybe write that down.
It was very much I remembered it being in that movie, but it was very personal to me. It was still a little bit different than that.
Wow.
And then I was looking around in this really peaceful place, wondering what the heck this was all about. And a goat, this little goat runs up to me and basically nudged me to follow it. And so I started going down the trail after this goat. And then I was right back in my body. It was the weirdest thing.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a pretty cool experience.
You wonder if things like that are things that actually exist in a different plane, a different dimension.
I know, right?
You wonder.
I did wonder.
Because it's really powerful to be in that theta state, isn't it?
Mm.
That's kind of how you feel like when you're floating, you're halfway awake, you're halfway not, but you're in this really, your brain waves are right at that state where you're able to see visions and things like that, and you're just to the point where you're ready to let go, but you're kind of conscious, but you're not conscious. And so I wonder.
Weird state, huh?
It's a weird state. I wonder if like what you saw, like in the dream world, or if that was a dream or something. Obviously people would say, "Oh, well, you're creating that vision in your mind," but there could be a sense in which, like in the quantum reality, that's an actual state or version of the universe that's out there that's actually real.
Well, it's very strange. It seems like that to me because I've had dreams in the theta state where I'm talking with people. And forgiving people for things and having full conversations about things that I know have happened in real life. And we're forgiving each other and moving on. And when I wake up, I feel like I was able to let things go. So I feel like, why would that be a random dream? I mean, I feel like I'm working through things and situations I hadn't thought about for years with people.
Wow.
Being there. So I think there's much more going on different
What do you think
planes.
that sword represents? You took the sword out of the door, and then that's what unlocked the door.
I don't know.
Maybe it's something like you have to, in order to get to the golden light, you have to like slay dragons or something.
I did. That's interesting. I felt like it was like maybe a tool I was given to kind of combat things in life. But at the same time, I don't remember taking the sword with me through the door. So I kind of laid it down. I don't remember laying it down, but I remember it not being in the crossing over that threshold.
Wow. Yeah, it's like we're all on a
really
hero's journey or something.
That's a cool way to put that.
That's interesting. Gosh, that's
so you didn't have anything like that.
I didn't have anything like that this time, but I think it's so powerful. I think it's the only time that your brain and your nervous system gets a time to shut off. It's almost like a fast. It's like not eating a certain food for a certain amount of time because it allows your digestion to actually heal itself. When you remove all 5 of your senses from your body, your chakras can align. I don't even know what that means. You know what I mean? But
I don't clearly either.
People talk about chakra energy and things like that, and if you believe in that kind of thing, that would happen. Your nervous system would finally get a chance to relax. You'd finally get a chance to just allow so I think that deep states of healing can happen as a result of the flow tank. And I also think that once you're done healing, like emotional stress, emotional trauma, physical issues, once you're done healing in that regard, the flow tank could actually be used as something that takes your ability to handle stress and your life and your purpose and your potential to another level. Because then you can start figuring things out. Your brain can start working better because you're creating new neural pathways that aren't being bombarded by sensory input from the outside world. So you're able to start focusing on new projects and start focusing and being creative. And, I think that once you go in the flow tank for a while, you're going to have to start dealing with yourself. And then after that, you're going to start, having to heal yourself. But once you get beyond those points, then you can really let go and take the journey wherever you want to go and become creative and figure out ways to get back to the world,
I remember when you were saying in your last experience, you had like a kind of a feeling or a vision. I don't know what you would call it when you said you were just like a brain.
Yeah.
Where you just saw yourself as a mind. You weren't any body. You weren't anything other than a brain. And I had a flash come up too during this last session. It was just a skull. It was just a real quick, like almost like a Halloween looking skull.
Wow.
And then it went away. And I thought, wow, like to me that represented that I'm just my brain too. I'm dealing with myself on a whole other level. I'm really just in my mind. It was pretty
or maybe
powerful.
It represents like that's what you would have become had you not taken drastic measures to take care of yourself, like doing the float tank, which was scary for you.
Interesting.
Yeah,
you're right.
Like that was where you were going.
Huh. I didn't think about that.
And we also had a really interesting experience with Dr. Bergman, didn't we?
Well, I have to say it's the coolest thing that our float therapy, Newport Float, is right like 2 miles away from Dr. Bergman.
Yeah.
So we've been like taking a little trek. It's about 35-40 minute drive, and we can float between sessions with Dr. Bergman. It's been the coolest couple weeks.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dr. Bergman, man, what an amazing guy he is.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to actually post one of his shows while we're gone next week. Mm-hmm. But he's one of the best chiropractors probably in the world in terms of natural chiropractic and upper cervical work, and just an amazing guy. Incredible guy who understands the systems of the body like nobody else.
Mm-mm.
And he told me some things that were pretty shocking.
Yeah.
Pretty shocking.
What did you find out this week?
So I went in there and I had a bunch of scans done and x-rays done, a scan of my autonomic nervous system, heart rate variability scan, a scan specifically of my spine all the way from the top to the bottom. And that took a little bit of time, and then some x-rays. And by looking at all this stuff, he came and basically told me that I am really unhealthy. Really.
What the heck?
Yeah, and he was saying, thank God for your diet, because you've got the diet and the exercise and the fitness part nailed down, but the structure of your body is, he said he's seen 90-year-old women come in with better structure than I have. And he said my ability to deal with stress was a numbering system between 1 and 100, and
It's supposed to be up in the 90s.
It's supposed to be up in the 90. Mine was 33. And then he showed me my diminished organ function and my inability to absorb nutrients, my inability to put on muscle, remember muscle mass and weight, and my inability to have proper organ function. And he was showing me throughout all the vertebrae how the vertebrae affects the muscles, and the muscles affect the nerves. The nerves don't send the right signals to the organs become diminished. And he showed me all these areas inside my stomach where there's these gas pockets, which means I'm not digesting my food properly. Because
and it was bad. He showed us what other people with somewhat of a problem with gas looks like, but yours was like black, cloudy, blobs all over the place.
Yeah, these pockets of black circles with white rings around them, whereas the whole thing should have been white.
And he's like, "This is terrible."
It was like looking at like a bee's hive where you see all the honeycombs. It was like all these pockets of black.
Yeah,
and that
was pretty bad.
Yeah, and he said that I lean 30% of my weight on my left side, which is causing structural imbalances. And he was talking about I've got arthritis apparently in two different parts of my back. In my upper cervical, I've got a reverse curve in it, and that's causing all these.
Your neck is actually curving the exact opposite way of how it's intended.
Yeah,
I had no curve to my neck. You were reverse curved, so you're even worse off than I am.
And there's all these cascading effects that happen as a result of that.
Well, it was interesting how he said, he's like, you could be the most healthy looking person, you could eat the best superfoods known to man, and you could just be inside sort of going downhill really fast.
He told me that this was the beginning of a disease process for me.
That's what he did say.
And he was saying, but he's so awesome because he's like, this is completely reversible. Like we could, through the proper care and treatment, we could reverse all of this. No problem. Like no problem. Smiling.
Yeah.
Saying you're.
And you know what? I believe him.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the scans of people he's shown what he can do after 90 days with someone's organs and spine and things are aligned. So, it wasn't just like a false hope. But I think he's not giving people false hope. You should see the amount of people in and out of an office on a visit on a daily. I couldn't even believe it.
And it makes you think. I think he sees like 200 people.
It's crazy.
Right?
Yes.
In a day. And it makes you think that there's hope, and it makes me really understand more that the structure of the body is so important for having your organs work properly. We don't think about that.
I didn't know that really when he mentioned it to me because, I've been having my organ awareness, as I call it.
Right,
but, yeah, he said that the structure of the spine is directly correlated with that, and I was shocked by that, actually.
Yeah, because with me, and you too, if your upper cervical, if your neck, the vertebrae in your neck are I think what he calls subluxated, it causes a nerve diminishing of the nerves. It causes muscle tension. That causes a constriction, which prevents blood flow and oxygen to certain organs in your brain if you have issues in your neck.
Yep.
And then if you have issues with, not proper blood flow and oxygen to your brain, You have an inability to process information, potential for Alzheimer's as you age. You have the inability for your body to deal with blood-brain toxins getting into your brain later on in life. And so all these issues come from improper alignment and structure of the neck, of the shoulders, of the upper cervical, your spine. And it's really he's just an incredible guy. He gave us these exercises to do. So we have a whole 6-month protocol that we have to follow.
Yeah, I have a block. I put that on Instagram. I get to, because I'm so excited to be healing, get to put my the ball of my foot onto this block and lean forward. Really easy exercise, but just a minute a day each side. And then we're given these little things that go around your neck like a cushion, like a little tube. And then you hold down on these straps and you just, you put your head all the way back and then you just lean it forward, look straight ahead, back and forward. And you do rounds of I do 20 3 times a day. You do 80, right?
Yeah.
3 times a day?
80 3 times a day.
And my gosh, it's the simplest movement. You wouldn't think you'd be able to feel strengthening and things like that in your neck going on, but holy Toledo.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible too, because if you think about the way they say ambulate, which is how you move, how your spinal and your skeletal structure moves through space 3-dimensionally. You're not supposed to have your feet be at an angle, be at 10 after. Both feet should walk at noon and walk straight. But then as a result of all this imbalance, we have all these issues with back pain, diminished organ function, and you can see how this stuff would cause the disease process. Were you afraid of getting your neck?
Yeah, the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had it done a few times in the past, but I don't know, it creeps me out. But you know what? I broke through after about the 4th time. I wasn't, the risk to me was which there really isn't that much of a risk when he explains it, when you understand how your neck is hardly moving and it's nearly impossible to have something go wrong.
Right.
The risk of not healing was far greater than the risk of going in and getting help.
Right,
and
right.
What made me really confident is there was probably 150 people cycling through that first day that I was there within a 2.5 hour period. It's crazy. And all these people are just, everybody loves it, gets adjusted, gets up and moves out and comes back, another time that day or tomorrow or whatever. But no, I feel completely confident. And both him and the other doctor working there, Dr. DeWitt, they're amazing. They're amazing.
It's wild because people will fly there from around the world and stay there. They'll get a hotel for 6 months. This is how good he is. They'll get a hotel for 6 months or 3 months, whatever the treatment that's necessary for that particular person, and they'll stay in a hotel for 3 months.
Yep. There's all kinds of people there's a guy from Germany, there's people from Alaska, people from all over the place. And it's so neat. They're in there, the Dr. DeWitt and Dr. Bergman are just laughing and having a good time, but really get to develop these relationships and really see true healing in a matter of months, that people come to them with a lot of hopelessness when they first show up,
Oh, yeah.
I love that. Anytime I see people flying in and doing extreme measures to get to someone makes me pay attention. And actually, my friend this week, she said she wanted to know if I wanted to meet for tea the other morning, and we didn't have a show on a Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I'd really love to, but I can't because I'm going to, have a 5 a.m. chiropractic. And she's like, what the heck? I said, yeah, I have a 5, and then I'm going to wait 2 hours and then have a second adjustment 2 hours later at 7, so I won't be able to be there.
Right.
She goes, who the heck is your chiropractor? Like, why is he starting at the crack of dawn? I go, wow. You wouldn't believe his schedule was so cool, but he sees people from all over the place. And she goes, where do you have to go for that? I said, Huntington Beach. And she goes, that is so weird. I had a friend that was just saying that she'd been seeing this chiropractor that was changing her life and had been recommended to her, and she was going to travel to try to come to go to this person. And so she ended up putting the story together that we were both talking about the same guy.
Oh, really?
Completely different areas of, the country. And
wow.
I mean, his name's getting out there, and he's, I believe, just a true healer. He knows his stuff, more than I'd say the most medical doctors that I've ever talked to.
Right.
But he's a healer. I think he has a gift of being able to heal people, and with a sense of humor. I mean, you go in there and you feel like it's Patch Adams working on you. I mean,
he's so nice.
These happy signs everywhere to, remind you to expect miracles, and how it's easier to, smile than it is to frown, less energy. And I'm having a really, really amazing experience there. So.
Yeah, it takes, it really is part of your own prescription, as part of your own, protocol for extreme self-care. If you really want to take care of yourself. It's one of those things where, how important is it, for certain people? Like for us, we don't happen to live in Texas where our dentist is, but we'll fly to Texas.
We will.
And, people fly all around the world it's almost like for medical freedom. Thank God that he's still allowed to be in the United States.
Right.
Doing the kind of work he does. But if you guys are interested, if you want to hear him talk and hear him, we interviewed him a while back, and we're going to be releasing another interview with him next week.
I can't wait for that one to come out.
He came in studio. It's just so amazing. But on the right-hand side of our website, there are, at the bottom, it says meet our dentist and meet our chiropractor.
Yep.
So you can listen to Dr. Bergman. There's a link to his YouTube channel on that page where I think he's got over 400 YouTube talks, presentations, and speeches he's given. And many of them are like an hour long about different health topics.
He has his own YouTube channel, doesn't he? Yeah. He's
an incredible guy. And so if you're interested in taking your health to another level, or if you're dealing with any structural issues, go see Dr. Bergman. Go check him out.
He really is, in my opinion, worth it.
Yeah, listen to him and see if you resonate with his message and what he's all about. Because if you do, I think you can find some real deep healing there. So it's been pretty amazing for us to go to the float tank and then go to see him.
I feel so cared for. I feel like my body is just being finally cared for in the way that I should have been treating it all these years.
Yeah,
I really do, and that's part of my healing.
Super cool, huh?
Yes.
Super cool. So who else do we have? We actually didn't even finish. We had Rosemary Drysdale. We had Matthew Stein.
Oh, Matthew Stein.
Rosemary Drysdale was awesome, talking about the benefits and healing properties of parasites.
Yeah, she was really, really, again, the other side of the coin, I thought. Most people hear the word parasite and freak out, but she was saying how some can be beneficial. And I think what I took away the most from that one was that it doesn't seem like you can really catch a lot of things, in her opinion, running through the grass barefoot, the earth. You're going to, It makes it sound like human fecal matter in third world countries is the problem. Like if you're stepping in other humans' feces, you have a bigger problem of catching something than, animals. It doesn't sound like it's very easily transmitted that way.
Right.
So that made me happy.
Would you ever put maggots on your skin?
No, I don't think so.
To burrow in and eat up dead tissue?
Never say never, but I know when she was talking about ulcers, I think she was talking about outer ones, obviously, because you were thinking, how can you get them into your stomach if you have like a stomach ulcer?
Right.
She was talking about the outward, ulcerating of skin and things like that.
Okay.
Eating dead tissue. Ugh.
And then Matthew Stein, 326, that was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Ebola virus. And
our poor Texans.
I know, right?
Yeah, it wasn't the most feel good about leaving that talk, I didn't think, but
yeah, but he's a really interesting guy, Matthew Stein. He's
I loved him.
Really into like spirituality and stuff, and we talked to him for about almost an hour off the air, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did actually an hour.
Yeah.
He was fascinating. He's such a cool guy.
He was really interesting.
Yeah.
He has a really fascinating story with his wife that passed away from cancer, and
only last December.
Yeah, and he's really into herbalism, and so you'll learn about what the story was with that, and basically we talked about 10 different tips to heal and to prevent the Ebola virus. Which we were going to get into, like preparedness and survival tips.
We didn't even go there.
We didn't even get into that.
Yeah.
That was cool, though.
We will, though. We will. We'll have them on again.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yep. I want a moon suit.
You want a moon suit?
Mm-hmm.
They're only like $200.
Are they really?
Yeah, I went onto that gas mask website.
Oh, yeah, the approved, what's it called? ApprovedGasmask.com.
Yeah, if you go to the show notes for episode 296, you'll see a link for that website. Yeah, they're only like a couple $100.
I might have to get one.
Oh, man.
Really expensive Halloween costume.
I know, right? It would be like you're on that movie E.T.
Yeah, it was. That part made me really scared when I was a kid. I saw that movie at the drive-in theater.
Oh, you did?
In the back of my parents' Volvo station wagon.
Really?
Yeah, I remember watching it, and I was little when that came out, maybe like 5 or 6.
Wow.
Well, I'm a couple years younger than Drew Barrymore, and she played Gertie, so I was little.
Oh, you were small, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember watching it, though, and it scared the heck out of me when they put them in those big white tubes. And I remember being really, really, really scared.
Yeah. That movie does put a lot of fear of the government into you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Come and take over you. And
yeah, come and take... Yeah, that's
You know what? I want to watch E.T.
We should watch it.
Yeah, that's a great one. That might be a Friday night movie tonight.
We should do that.
Think they have that at Redbox?
Maybe.
I wonder if they have old movies at Redbox.
Is Redbox online, or is that at the grocery store?
You have to go to the grocery store or wherever they have it. Yeah.
And you just pay for it?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they have E.T.
I'm going to try to find E.T. I'm going to track it down.
That'd be pretty cool. I'd like to watch that.
Me too.
Yeah,
That's a
be
great
cool.
movie.
All right, so I think it's time to wrap everything up, right?
Yeah, guys, that was a lot of fun today. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being on. This is episode 327, so we'll put all the notes that we talked about in this show page, and
we'll miss you guys next week. We're going to take off on a little vacay.
Yeah, we're going to have a little fun. You can follow us on Instagram if you want. We're going to be posting photos of stuff we do on there.
In the desert.
In the desert.
Yeah, 5 nights in the desert. That we get.
The land of the dirt.
Nice.
Yeah. So enjoy, and I hope you guys enjoyed this particular show. And please pass it on to your friends, or pass on any one of our shows to your friends. And also, if you guys could if you would be so kind, we'd greatly appreciate this. Leave us a review on iTunes if you can. You just got to go in there and type Extreme Health Radio, all one word, and subscribe to us and leave a rating and review, and that'll help us a lot.
We would so appreciate you guys. We appreciate everyone who's doing it. It really helps get us out there for the masses to be able to hopefully get some hope with their healing and
completely.
Things like that. So
yeah, we really appreciate all you guys' help, and so it's just an honor to be here. And so next week we're going to have off, and the next week after that, Bill Henderson talking about natural cancer treatment cures. Bill Henke, he's going to be in studio talking about pranic energy healing. That's going to be cool. And then our dentist, Dr. Stuart Nunley, biological dentistry, and then our Free for All Friday show. So if you're looking for any health products that you think might resonate with you, that you might be interested in, we have a great store. You can always go on there and look at everything we have. The laser, the Qigong, the sauna, the Bellicon, all the stuff is in our store. So we're going to be adding to that too.
Yes,
and also we're going to take Tana's advice, and if we can pick up that thing that she's talking about.
What's the thing called again? The TGI Pro.
TGI Pro, yeah. Yep. Maybe we'll put that in the store one day.
I'm encouraged by that. I
so
can't wait
good
to check
stuff.
that out.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining us. We hope you have a great Friday.
And we love you guys, and thank you for spending so much time, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Look at that.
Hey everybody, this is Josie, Justin's mum. Don't tell him, but I know he would absolutely be really happy if you would sign up to his free weekly newsletter. And don't forget to share this with all your friends. This is the buzzing bumblebee signing off.
That was so good.
Hello.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too, that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted